Welcome everybody to another BDA Boxing podcast, the Boxing Debate Arena. This is your host, Mr. BDA. I'm glad that everybody could be here to join us. I'm flying solo tonight. A bit of an impromptu podcast. Didn't expect to do one, but then again, we're not going to be doing one tomorrow. So I said, might as well do one now, right guys? Gotta give the people what they want. And obviously to speak our minds, because we did have some fantastic fights this Saturday. Well, it's still Saturday, technically. So thank you for joining us, everybody. And now that we don't really have a lot of people here, I'm all alone, except for you guys out there listening on this beautiful winter night. Christmas is just around the corner. And the Charlos, I'm going to tell you, everybody had differing opinions on the Charlos. Obviously, you have the Charlo fans, aka the LDBC, and then you have people that call it down the middle, and then of course you have people that completely hated the Charlos. We're going to try to look at what happened because, and spoilers by the way, for anybody that hasn't been keeping up with what happened earlier tonight on Fox, PBC, putting on a pretty good card. I didn't see the heavyweight fight, but we did see the Charlos in what most people thought were going to be mismatches. Actually, it turned out to be pretty decent scraps. Let's start with Jermall Charlo. Jermall, the 154. No, excuse me. Yeah, Jermall, 154. Oh my goodness gracious. Jermall, the 154-pound one, lost to Tony Harrison by controversial decision. And then Jermall Charlo, the middleweight, won against Matt Korobov in a pretty peculiar fight. I guess the judges got it wrong in both fights, in my opinion. But we're going to talk more about that. I see we have Reverse Lee on the line.
Reverse Lee.
That people say that's where you go if you want your career to blow up.
California, man. That's
the land of the pedophiles.
All right. Reverse, are you there?
Hello.
How are you, man? Thanks for joining.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. For some reason, I had to actually do your intro manually. It's not working on the
soundboard.
The soundboard, yeah. I'm pressing the buttons; they're not working. But anyway, listen. Thanks for being here, Reverse. Pretty interesting night of fights, huh?
Indeed.
So, what did you think? Did you think that the judges got it wrong on both fights? Did you agree with the decisions?
I thought that Tony Harrison won. I mean, no, I thought that Tony Harrison lost. I thought it was a clear Jermall Charlo win.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that Jermall in the Korobov fight should have been a draw.
You thought the cover should have been a draw. By the way, hold on a second. The Quag says, "Why am I timed out?" You're not timed out. We can see you, Quags. Why would I time you out? One of the best. The best. Yeah, okay, so you thought Kobrov Charlo was a draw. Was that because of Charlo's strong ending? Or because you thought it was close throughout the whole fight?
I think he nicked a couple of the later rounds in order to win.
Okay, well there you go. I mean that's one way of looking at it. Well, let's see real quick what people are saying in the chat room, because finally we got some time to see what people are saying in the chat room. So let's go back all the way since we started this. Get Off Me Son says Jermall was exposed by Kobrov big time.
He was.
Yeah. William Stamus, shout out to William, says I had Harrison winning by 2 rounds. Cachnello gave me my fight. Shout out to Cachnello, says yo fellas, Charlos got schooled bad. The Quag says I had Jermall winning, but Harrison gave him problems. Shepherd the Sons, shout out to Shepherd, says both Charlos lost, LOL. Cachnello continues by saying Jermall got schooled by a guy coming off a 1.5 year layoff. Oh my goodness, Triple G would tear him to shreds. By the way, he didn't say oh my goodness, he said oh my god. I added that, my goodness, because I do not take the Lord's name in vain. As you well know, I'm a true Christian soldier, and I will never disrespect my Lord and Savior that way. Christian Estrella says...
So am I.
All right, hold on a second, X. Christian Estrella says, is Jermall ready for Canelo? It would appear not. Shepherd the Sun says he ain't.
Not.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Listen, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. William Stammen says, I would also like the PBC announcers to at least pretend to be impartial. Yeah, William, you're completely right. These guys, and I'm very disappointed in my Joe Goosen. I thought he was going to be a bit more objective down the line, but he was towing the party line. I guess the PBC pays those big bucks. Jason Bourne says, BDA, the people's champ. That's right. I'm a man of the people and I speak for the people. Jerson Medina says, okay, Jerson Medina says that was one hell of an upset. I gotta tell you, I was surprised. I didn't see it coming. Don Flamenco says, out here. I don't know what that means. Kachinello says, ha, my god, overhand. And Kobarov basically got off the couch and schooled a drugged up Vada avoiding Charlo. All right, before we continue, we do have X on the line. X, let's try to make this brief, man, because people can't handle a lot of you. We need you in small doses. So X, what happened with the Charlos, man?
Well, first of all, I just want to say that I saw you had me on that most annoying list. All right? And
that wasn't me.
That motherfucker recognized, voted for me, that faggot.
I know, but...
I want to get that off my chest. And
all
second of all, they were drugged up, both of them. Okay?
That's right.
This has to do with Canelo, that fucking demon. And they don't want the Charlos to shine because they know what was going to happen. Look, this is what I think, okay? I got some, you know me, BDA. I got a lot of insight and I know a lot of people.
Right.
I heard they were drugged up. That's what I'm hearing. Okay? And they still won, both of them.
All right.
It was a little closer, and I'll admit that. I won't over-exaggerate and say they won every single round, okay?
Right.
Tony Harrison is a good brother. He won at least 4. Okay, I give him 4 rounds.
I gotta ask you, X. People will kill me if I don't ask you this. The zone has a lot of money,
Fuck them.
and they're throwing. But hold on a second, they're throwing a lot of money around. The Charlos, it might appear, were maybe considering, despite what they said in public, they might have been considering going over to the zone to get that Canelo and maybe Daniel Jacobs as well. Is it possible that this was Al Heyman reminding them, listen, fellas, I'm the master here. We might share the same skin color, but I'm still the master. Do you think that's what happened tonight?
No, that's not what happened. This had to do with Eddie Hearn and Canelo poisoning. They're trying to say, look, if you don't sign with us, we'll poison you. We'll poison you, you fucking slaves. That's what they were saying.
All right.
Okay?
So you're saying maybe Canelo too, he was using some of that Santa Muerte magic from far.
Yeah, Santeria. You know, all that shit that they do. Those crazy. Well, he's not even Mexican. He's German or Irish or Russian, whatever the fuck he is. He's not Mexican. I'm telling you, that I can tell you. BDA, you're Mexican. You could see that he's an imposter.
That's right. Well, actually, I live in Canada, so I'm not a real Mexican. So.
No, you're Mexican enough. Don't worry about that.
All right.
But that's all I wanted to say, okay? And take me off that damn list. And if you're gonna make a list like that, you should make a list of who should be banned from that fucking show. And I'll vote for Recognize 500 times.
500 times. All right. With loud and clear, X. We know you don't like Recognize, as you call him, the snake.
Yeah, he is a
gay
snake.
serpent.
He's a serpent. He's a gay serpent. And him and that John, the gay devil Gonzalez, I hate that motherfucker too.
All right, I can hear.
Have some manners, okay? Have some manners. You're a young buck. I'm trying to.
I can hear you're in the middle of a storm right now, X, and I know you brothers don't.
Yeah, I gotta go make that money, man. And, you know, I got some kids, and I gotta get them their Christmas gifts. You know, it's hard for a black man out here. But anyway, I know, X. I gotta go.
All right,
peace to all, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and all that good shit.
That's right, X. Merry Christmas and keep on keeping on, brother.
Astaham alaikum.
Yeah, wa alaikum salam. Peace.
All right, see ya. Bismillah. All right. Okay, so let's get back to this fight. Let's go back to this chat room. Overhand says, "Damn, Canelo's always poisoning a brother's water." 13 rounds of boxing. Shout out to 13 rounds. Says Nino. That's what I was thinking too. Straight left was landing all night. All night. Let me tell you something. All fucking night. Yes.
Korobov really beat him with like 2 punches.
Exactly. Nothing fancy. Just a good old 1-2. Really amazing when you think about it. The Pete Stammes, shout out to Pete, says the only goddamn punch he threw. That's right. Gypsy Boxing Style, aka Boxing Style, says Kobrov has beaten Jose Uzcategui, so no shame. Yeah, okay, but hold on. That was a very green Uzcategui. Definitely not. Muscategui. I call him Muscategui. We're gonna quibble about that.
Jose,
Reverse.
let's just call him.
Reverse. I mean, yeah, reverse. Come on, man.
I like to break my dick off in that ass, huh?
All right, that was the wrong. Obviously, that was the wrong fucking.
I like to break my dick off in.
Oh shit! I understand now. I know why it's. I didn't have the right file here. All right, here we go.
Come on, you gotta get in there.
That's right. That's what he had to do, Jermel. He had to get in there, and when he tried to get in there, he was swinging wildly.
Get in there. Get in there.
I tell you, reverse. You see the diff. I know people will think, "Oh, you're dick riding Golovkin," but there's a reason why Golovkin was knocking people out all the time, especially high-level middleweights, is because he knew how to control himself and pick his shots and take his guy out of there. The Charlos tonight, when they had to step it up, it was 1-2 left hook, lead right hand. There was no setting up, there was no feints, there were no real changes of levels. They would overshoot the distance and fall into clinches. I gotta tell you, the difference between top 5 middleweights and the rest of the middleweights is quite apparent right now, and that is little tricks, little wrinkles to your game.
Who are
And
the,
the
who are the
Charlos so
top
far don't
five
have that.
middleweights? Who
Was
are the
that?
other three?
I didn't hear what you said, Reverse.
Who are the other 3 top 5 middleweights?
Well, you tell me who they are. I want to hear
I
your
don't
opinion.
know.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, according to Ring Magazine at least, because I trust their rankings, all right? So obviously, number 1, they have Canelo. Oh, hold on, let me actually put it up on the screen here so everybody can enjoy the visuals. So obviously, number 1, Canelo Alvarez. Number 2, Gennady Golovkin. Number 3 would be Daniel Jacobs. Number 4 would be Billy Joe Saunders. Number 4, Rob Brandt, based off of his...
Derevyanchenko was better than Daniel Jacobs. That was a robbery.
You thought the oh, listen, well, reverse. We're not gonna get into that, man. We're not gonna get into robbers or whatever. But can we agree that Jermall Charlo is not in the top 5 middleweights?
I don't know.
Especially based off of resume, just off of resume alone.
Yes.
And I thought he lost this fight tonight. I thought he lost by 1 or 2 rounds. He came in at the end, tried to close, but he was supposed to end this fight strongly against a guy who got off the couch after a year and a half, had only gone 8 rounds in this past 2 years, and he
I
couldn't
thought
even get him
Korobov
out.
was going to beat his ass.
You knew. Okay, so let's talk about that then. What does this say about the state of the middleweight? Because we have people here that are always saying, oh, there's people fighting out there in the YouTube boxing community saying that Americans are better than Eastern Europeans. I don't care about that, but this doesn't look good for American boxers, man. For the Charlos, that this guy, Kobarov, was able to get off the couch after a year and a half, and all of a sudden he's schooling
he
Jermall
did
Charlo.
fight in 2018.
Okay, 8 rounds in the past 2 years, man. Come on.
It was like 6.
6 what? 6 months?
6 rounds.
Oh, geez. All right, so that's even worse. That's even
It
worse.
was
Reverse.
it was in March, I think.
Okay, so here's the other thing. People are saying, the Shepherd Zone says, BDA, come on, stand up for Eastern European brothers. I'm just saying, I'm just highlighting the hypocrisy of certain people
we
that
have
always
to
saying,
remember,
that always bring
Korobov
up
was
race.
35 years old, and Jermall Charlo was in the prime of his life.
That's right. I tell you what,
He got outclassed by a guy who should be considering retirement with 1 punch.
I mean, listen, like I was telling Bucho in the chat room. Hold on, by the way, let me check the Hangouts. Okay. Like I was telling Bucho in the Google Hangouts group, on Hangouts, I was telling him, imagine what that jab that Golovkin was landing on Jacobs, because Jacobs kept his head on the same axis, and it wasn't until later when he started sort of timing it that he wasn't getting hit that much anymore. Both Charlos, they keep their head on the same axis, whether they're attacking, backing up on the defensive, whatever. Bad news. That's what I'm saying. Those little details against the top middleweights that will get them beat. Okay, they might put up a good fight, but whether they can win that fight is a whole other matter, man. Sorry, what?
They'd be lucky to get out of the 5th round.
They'd be lucky. Well, listen, I'm not going to go that far and say that they get stopped, but definitely did not look good. They didn't look good. And let me tell you something. I'm pretty sure, well, you already have that. You can see that in the Hangouts here. People are saying that they were exposed. To me, exposed would be if they turn out to be pieces of crap. They're not pieces of crap. They're top 10 middleweights. But so
They
far,
kind of are.
well, they're not. Listen,
Especially
reverse.
Jamal. He did actually look pretty garbage.
All right, you know what? Let's let the people in the chat room. Let's see what they have to say. All right, because I get a feeling they're gonna be agreeing with you. RR1000. Fuck, that sounds like the Terminator or something. He says Charlos need a new trainer. The Charlos need new trainers. Overhand says Kobrov off the couch school Charlo. The fights guy says Nino, I know. Okay, Aldi for real. Shout out to Adil for real. Says Kobrov would be a good journeyman for Derevchenko to come back. I think Derevchenko walks through Kobrov. I think he wears him down. What do you think, Rivers?
I think that the 12th round showed that Korobov can't really take a really good punch like that. He did his. For people who are wondering why you haven't seen Korobov at all, it's because he had a good chunk of momentum when he started, but then he got caught by Andy Lee and knocked out, and he had to restart his entire career.
Right. That's a good way of saying it. He had to restart his whole goddamn career. Now, let me tell you something. I gotta take issue here with something with Pete Stamas. Now, Pete, you know you're my man, but he says Pastor BDA is being way too easy on the Charlos. Listen, I've told you that they're not tough. I mean, the Charlo, this one, Jermal. Which one's him? The one that's a minute older? Or the one that got conceived earlier? By
The bigger one?
half a 30
Which
seconds.
one do you mean?
Yeah, whatever. Listen, the middleweight one. I told you he's not a top 5 middleweight. I'm telling you right straight up. I don't think he's a top 5 middleweight. But I'm not also going to start calling him a piece of crap. Even though he did get schooled necessarily. He got schooled a little bit by a guy that was essentially took a call on the last minute and said, yeah, I'll fight him. Which is
And he's
Kovarov.
35 years old.
And who is 35 years old.
I mean, technically, he was already scheduled to fight. That's how he made the weight. He was going to fight on the undercard.
Right,
but he
exactly.
planned on fighting on the undercard, and he still almost beat the guy in the main event.
Exactly. Well, actually, I thought Kovarov won by 2
I
points.
think you can give him the win, too.
And I thought, by the way, the other Charlo, the one that was conceived later, I think he won that fight, but he did not look good either.
I thought he did too,
good.
but you see, he lost to Martirosyan. So I see this as he just traded in his win versus Martirosyan for a loss versus Tony Harrison.
Ah, I see what you're saying. By the way, Pete Stamas is saying, come on, BDA. Come on. I mean, listen, Pastor BDA is not going to be kicking people while they're down. All right?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm sorry too. It's okay, no problem.
Okay, salute.
I'm not going to kick people while they're down. The Charlos, but listen, I knew the Charlos weren't all that. Bucho told you all that. A bunch of people on this hangout told you they were not all that. So we're not all that surprised that they didn't look good. And listen, this is what happens when you're taking on nondescript opposition. I mean, look. They're not, Martirosyan ain't bad. Trout ain't bad. But they're definitely not the top 10 middleweights or junior middleweights. And that's what
Martirosyan beat them.
That's what you're saying. And hold on. Let me see the chat room. Let's see what Boxing Style. I think Boxing Style had Charlo winning every run against Martirosyan. Could be wrong. Boxing Style, you make sure you correct me if I'm wrong, which I don't think I am. The Quag says Kobrov is 35 and wasn't he scheduled for an 8-round fight? Indeed, he was. Cherry picking gone wrong. That reminds me of that time there was this guy, a friend of mine, who he used to go around picking up hookers and then robbing them, and then one day he ended up picking up a hooker.
How does everything come back to hookers?
Well, hold on a second. Let me finish here, Reverse. Come on. He picked up a hooker, and it turned out it was a guy who dressed up as hooker so he could rob hookers, and he ended up getting robbed by the hooker robber. So it reminds me of the situation. Cherry picking go wrong. You gotta watch out. Apology Man says interesting panel, Reverse, and BDA. Well, that's all we got right now, man. What do you want from me, Apology? Why didn't you drop in? Or are you out there clubbing in England? You tell me. Joshua Miles says, does a Charlo know how to move their head? Reverse, that's what I'm saying. The Charlos don't seem to move their head. They're pretty good at blocking shots, but other than that, they don't move their head. Not really. Not even, you think?
It took Jamal 6 rounds to learn how to block one punch.
Mm-hmm. So do you think these Lions are still essentially Cubs in the middleweight and junior middleweight division?
If they're not at the point that they need to be the best fighters they can be, they're never going to be that. They're not 19, 22 years old. Jamal Charlo, I know is 27.
Mm-hmm.
If he's not at the point he needs to be now, he's not going to get there.
You don't think they can improve anymore?
I don't think they want to or they care to improve anymore.
Now, why would you say that?
Theoretically, could they do it? Yes, but that's not going to happen.
Now, why would you say that? Why would you say that they can't improve?
It isn't, because you've seen performances like that from Jamal Charlo since Austin Trout, and that was like 2-3 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Well, now that you mentioned the reverse, I don't like to play. I don't like to be a boxer warrior. But let's indeed look at Jermel Charlo's record from the past 2 years. Let's do that. So as you can see here, 2016, John Jackson, pretty good, decent puncher, but other than that, not necessarily.
That was a lucky fight.
All right, Charles Heatley, undefeated.
John Jackson was actually beating him that entire fight.
Right. Charles Heatley, horrible technique, despite his glossy record. Erickson Lubin. Okay, he knocked him out in the first round. You can't argue against a first round knockout. Austin Trout gave him a good fight, majority decision, but he pulled through and got the win. And then Tony Harrison. Is it safe to say that's not exactly... It's a good record, but it's not what people were making it out to be. You know, where people were saying, like, oh, the Charlos are the Lions, the Lions of Judah. They're going to be walking through everybody. How come he couldn't walk through Tony Harrison? Hey, Jared Hurd did it. How come Charlo couldn't do it?
Well, technically speaking, Jared Hurd is like 180 pounds in the ring.
That's right. It's a very good point. Another Lion drying himself up to fight at 154. Not exactly fair, if you ask me. But then again, nobody is asking me. So what the fuck do I know? Steven Skillrose, shout out to Steven, says Marty Orson already beat Jermel more convincingly than Harrison. Overhand says, oh. Well, there you go. Apology says
he won like 10 rounds.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that fight. Apology man says it's the American style and culture, no skill, just athleticism. All right, that's a little bit too harsh, man. Come on.
That is true.
All right, we know you're an anti-American, the reverse. We know you're not a patriot, so we're gonna take what you say with a grain of salt.
I mean, Julian Williams is actually a pretty decent fighter if he has a good night.
Do you think he's a decent fighter if he fights at his weight, at his real weight, in his real weight division?
Yeah, 154 or 160. He has said he'll never go above 160.
Get the fuck out of here. He's gonna have to. He's gonna have to. I'm telling you right now.
He said in an interview that has aged a little bit that he won't be going above 160.
No, that's
Julian Jackson at least. Bullshit. Julian Williams.
That's bullshit. He's Julian Williams. Okay, if it's Julian Williams, okay. But you got to mixed up the reverse. You got to step your game up. I know it's late, but come on.
Stupid fucking American cunt.
All right, what the fuck was that? Uncle Burnt Apostrophe says, I cannot stand that douchebag. Who are they talking about? Grievous says, Charlos are good, but nothing special. The Quack says, the Charlos were both exposed. Oh, there's the word exposed. Hurd would beat both of them. All right, so what do you think about that, reverse? Does Hurd walk through both Charlos, even the middleweight one?
I don't know. Hurd doesn't really have any defense himself.
Do you think... Go ahead.
The only reason Hurd beat Lara and who was the other guy he beat?
Well, he did beat Tony Harrison, right? And Austin Trout. He beat Austin Trout as well.
he beat Trout and Lara because they were old, and they didn't really hit that hard. If those guys were younger, he probably would have lost to them by decision as well.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, listen, that's one way of looking at it. That's definitely one way of looking at it. We have... hold on a second. I just saw a picture here. What is this? Oh, that's... We got a portrait of the Charlos here. I hear, it's just a rumor, but I hear that they have this portrait on their wall of their houses. So you tell me if that's right or not. Speaking of portraits, we have a work of art here. The main man, Recognize the Matrix.
Don't get fooled when they tell you that the crime rate is down in New York. Every time I watch the local news, they're always talking about, well, there was a stabbing here, there was a stabbing there, there was a shooting there, but the crime is down.
All right. Recognize, are you there?
What's up? What's going on?
Up?
What's up,
well,
Reverse?
We had a full night.
How are you?
All right. Just hanging out.
Oh, by the way, Recognize. We had X on the line earlier, and he's not all that happy that he's being placed in a poll, because we have by the way, people, we have a poll that King Butcher set up. I think it's the most annoying person, I think, on BDA, like who's the most destructive person on BDA, and X was nominated, and he seems to think that you had something to do with it.
I have nothing to do with it.
Well, he's pretty adamant.
I just voted for him. That's all.
He's pretty. Well, you're not supposed to. It's supposed to be confidential, man. It's supposed to be anonymous, like the elections.
In life, you have to vote.
Yes,
Absolutely.
you have to vote. And so since I had to,
especially in a poll that's going to get about 20 or less votes.
By the way, sorry,
Yeah.
but Apology is asking in the chat room. Where's the link to the poll? I can't. Where is the link to the poll? Well, I think if you go, Apology,
If you go
go
to
to
the
the page-
BDA Boxing Channel and you click where it says community, you should be able to get to it.
there you
Yep,
go.
that's right.
Yeah, because Bucho and myself.
And Apology should be voting for X for sure.
Listen, we're setting up this little award season, so we're gonna be holding some awards for the end of the year show, where we're gonna be voting. We're gonna be playing also on that episode the best of. So we're looking for quotes right now, the best
Hey,
quotes,
you
the best
guys-
moments.
You
Yes.
guys heard the bad news?
Oh, come on! I'm not.
that
No, we're not
came
gonna
out
go
on the
there.
internet.
We're not gonna go there, man. Come on.
What
You
bad
are-
news?
Reverse, you're a heartless.
Adonis woke up.
You're a heartless prick, Reverse. I gotta tell you, a heartless prick,
God, Jesus.
and you're not even 18 yet.
How
Yes,
dare
sir.
you talk to me like that?
I
You
turned
big
18 in
fucking
October.
American cunt!
American cunt. That's right.
Oh, he's not even 21 yet. That's when it all kicks in.
You fucking no good cunt!
What does your cunt taste like?
Bull fucking shit!
Yeah, well then I can see how they've got a lot in fucking common.
Are you a faggot?
All right, sorry, I'm just playing through the whole fucking gamut of sounds we've got. All right, Reverse. I mean, so yeah, recognize. Let's get to the. Did you watch the fights tonight?
Yes.
All right, so I gotta ask you, man. Are you willing to use the word expose here for the Charlos?
No.
Okay.
I didn't think they were that good anyway. So nothing was really exposed for me.
Listen, recognize. Let's be honest. They're good fighters, but
They are good fighters.
there's a big difference between the top 5 middleweights right now, or at least the top 3, and then the Charlos. Am I right?
Agree. Now look, I'm not saying that the Charlos cannot. I'm not saying. First of all, I think the wrong Charlo lost and the wrong Charlo won.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Korobov won that fight. I had him winning a close fight. I had him winning like 2 rounds, maybe 7 rounds to 5. I thought the younger brother, or the smaller one, the one that fights at 154, Jamel.
Snitch.
Huh?
No, I said I sneezed and I said snitch. It sounded like snitch. Probably because we got a snitch.
Are you listening to somebody try to get into your ear? And, Anyway.
No. Nobody's getting in my ear. Nobody. All right, sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
All right. So yeah, I thought the wrong one won the fight.
Mhm.
I thought he lost. So I thought Jamel won. Tony Harrison is a pretty good fighter, man. But I didn't think he won. I didn't think he won the fight. I didn't think he won the fight. Excuse me.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, but I'm not gonna say exposed. Look, I think Hurd beats the other Charlo, the 154 Charlo.
Mhm.
And I would take Canelo or Triple G or Danny Jacobs. I think I would definitely take Danny Jacobs.
Did you say Billy Joe Saunders?
Yeah, for sure. Billy Joe Saunders outboxes. He has problems with that, with the southpaw fighters. For sure, I would take him. And Danny Jacobs could switch it up, fight the southpaw, and just.
I found an interesting comment in the comment section. Cachinello said Charlo was gonna fight a southpaw anyway. He trained for that style and got schooled.
Very good point. A very good point. Who said that? You said
Cachinello, give me my
Cachinello.
fight.
Cachinello
That's a
bringing
good-
in
Yeah,
the heat.
not that I want to steal Cachinello's thunder, but I was going to mention it too. You like that, right?
Yeah, Bucho said that you had it because I think in the last show you said something about the Charlos not being all that great anyway, and that I think that's what he's trying to say. Bucho, I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, exactly. I never thought they were that good. I'm telling you, Charlo, if you look at him, man, he reaches a lot. In other words, he doesn't you know, he can close the range and shoot off his punches properly, but sometimes he gets desperate.
Mhm.
And it works for the lesser fighters. You know, it will
And
work for lesser fighters, but
and also, can I add this while it's still on my mind? They
Yeah,
are atrocious finishers. They can't finish to
yes,
save their lives.
good point.
Jermell had hurt Tony Harrison a couple of times in their fight, and he had him in a situation where if he knew how to get his shots in, he could have knocked him out. But
I
since
agree.
every time they hurt somebody, they resort to just mindless swinging, like a blind man swinging at some birds.
Hmm.
Anybody
Yes,
who actually has the decent defense to just back up and put their hands up can survive the assault.
Absolutely.
I totally agree
Absolutely.
with that. Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean, and I think especially with Jamal, the bigger one, and I know he has the more in terms of KO ratio, he has the more results of knockouts, but if you look at him, man, he reaches for a lot of his punches, and it's just a matter of time until when somebody, you know, I think the top fighters, the higher echelon fighters like Canelo, um, Triple G, they'll make him pay for that shit.
Hmm.
You know, they'll definitely make him pay for that.
Because you know what? Recognize, I was saying that as I was watching the fight, and I was watching the Trout fight as well, earlier this week, that Charlo's, when they fought Trout. Exactly what Reverse said, the swinging. It seems like when in tonight, when they saw that they were behind and they started to try to press forward, there was no variety. They were just jab, jab, overhand, jab, jab, right hook, jab, jab, right. Like, there's no variety of shots. And against the top, like you said, the top echelon, we're talking top 3, top 5 guys in the division, you need to mix it up. You need to have those extra wrinkles in your game to actually pull off the win. And I don't think the Charlos right now have that.
No, they don't, and that's because they've always fought guys that, you know, they're favored to win. They didn't really pose much of a threat. May even have, you know, the political side in their favor. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's interesting how I didn't expect that. You know, I didn't expect a close fight, and a fight that I thought one of the Charlos actually won the fight, that it would go the other way. You know,
Hmm.
why that happened, I don't know, but you know, it's just, it was an interesting result. I was for sure that they were going to give it to Charlo.
Well, they should have,
Canelo.
right? I mean, he
Well,
should
he
have
won
gotten
the
the
fight, in
decision.
my opinion. I thought he, you know, I'm thinking like, there's no way you would give him a fight that I'm actually sitting there thinking he won,
Hmm.
and not by a lot. I'm not saying he beat Harrison by a lot, but I thought he did enough to win the fight.
But then
You know,
that's what I'm saying here is also is, I agree, he should have won the fight, but in a way it's also his fault, because you know
I
that
agree.
when a fight is close like that, and you have, when it was time for him to push, to go to another gear, to switch to a higher gear, he couldn't do it. Like Reverse said, he was swinging a lot with the right hand, just as he did with Austin Trout. And it's, I mean, you take a look at what Canelo does, how he mixes his punches. The same shit with Golovkin. When they're going forward, they can switch to another gear. Charlo, he tried in intensity, but when it came to the technical aspect of mixing that intensity with technique, didn't quite work out. Now, did it?
Yeah. You see, those guys have control aggression. They know
Hmm.
how to finish fights. They know how to stay within boxing.
Right.
The Charlos are like, you know, they're street fighters. They, you know, when they get a guy hurt, you can tell they got they got that instinct to just cock all the way back, thinking that it's gonna hurt you more for some reason. No, the shorter the shorter the punch, the more closer you are to your man. You can, that's the most damage you can do, because you're getting excellent precision if you ever see a guy like swing a haymaker,
Uh huh.
he has to get lucky, is
Yeah.
what
Exactly. Well.
happens. He has to get, everything has to line up right. And so yeah, when he hits him, it might look nice and the guy gets knocked out, but if you see, he gets up right afterwards. You know, he might be a little dazed and confused, or even really hit hard. Most of that maybe has to do with him hitting the floor, but the one that really knocks you out is the punches that you put together the right way. controlled aggression, not that wild swinging aggression. Like you don't know, like you don't know what you're doing. You know.
Well, it's like they always say, right? Like if you're looking for the knockout, it doesn't come because you're forcing it way too much. And that's what happened with the Charlos. Because also you got to keep in mind, this was their first fight on Fox Network TV. They had to look good. And when it came down to it, listen, I thought the 154-pound Charlo, as I call it, Baby Charlo, I thought he deserved the win. But he didn't give, whether he would have gotten the decision or not, he did not put on a scintillating performance. Anything that would have told you that he was the top middleweight in the world, I mean, junior middleweight in the world. As far as middleweight Charlo, I thought he lost that fight and he didn't show any wrinkles in his game. Now, the other thing, recognize, as I was telling Reverse here, was their defense, it's good, it's world-class, but it's not top 5%, meaning you can set them up for shots. You saw Julian Williams doing it with middleweight Charlo, and you saw it tonight also with both guys. Like they keep their head, the Charlos, on the same axis, and it seems to me
it's not elite level.
Exactly,
their defense is not elite level. No,
it's world class, but it's not elite.
Right, and I think this is why they've been matched up the way they have with certain fighters that can't take advantage of that. From what I saw from Big Charlo against Korobov, I'm just looking at it and I'm like, shit, Canelo would take advantage of that. Triple G, I think, would definitely take advantage of that. Not to say that Triple G is better, it's just that he's a more committed to like. Right, even if you think he's better, it's just the way he punches. You know, he's definitely set up to just catch you with the especially that he jabs.
There's no way they could handle that aggression.
No, especially that he sets everything up with the jab, where Golovkin sets everything up with fast combinations, body shot, then upstairs, right? I think those guys. I think he would have got demolished by either guy.
Yeah,
that's not to say that he can't get better. I'm just going off the performance tonight. He would have gotten crushed by those guys, especially late. You know, they would have took him into the later rounds, and still been able to. Canelo and Triple G. I'm talking about.
Let's think about something. Okay, Vanes Martirosyan, he outclassed and schooled Jermell Charlo, right? Look what Triple G did to that guy.
Well, let's not get into boxing math here. But I get what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying, that look at who can put together a finish and look who can't. You know what I mean? I guess that's what you're trying to get at here, Reverse. But I will say this. Gennady Golovkin's jab is sharp, perhaps the best jab in the world. He was bouncing that jab off of Jacobs' head and Canelo's head as well, although he had to be a little bit more careful against Canelo. But he was still landing plenty of jabs. With the Charlos, with their big-ass heads on the same axis, that's a big target. That's a juicy target for a pervert like Gennady Golovkin, a jab pervert, as I like to call it. What do you guys think?
A punching pervert like Golovkin. I agree.
Let's start that. Let's start using that jab pervert, right hand pervert,
precision pervert,
a precision pervert. Yeah, precision pervert.
And then an explosive pervert like Canelo. No, it's just a bad matchup, bro. I could see Canelo exploiting him with so many counter shots and then just fucking walking him down once he gets his respect, going to the body, touching that tiny chin upstairs. Golovkin just controlling that shit early with the jab. And if he gets tired into the later rounds, just break him apart. You know, just start breaking him apart. Golovkin doesn't commit to the body as much as he used to, but I could see him doing it for this fight. Definitely doing it for this fight. Yeah,
I think so too, man. I mean, I think, people were saying after what happened against Canelo in the rematch, people were saying, "Oh, Golovkin's getting old." But if you think about it, in my mind, actually, he won that fight. He went to war against Canelo.
He did.
He won that fight.
See, the thing is, an old expiring Triple G is still better than everybody else in his division.
Expiring. An old expiring.
I agree with that, man. I do. I mean, think
Because
about
Triple
it.
G,
Like,
he is getting old. Like his feet are a lot slower. But
Yeah.
if you go and you watch that video that Artorias most recently put out, the Canelo versus Triple G 2-punch count, he still has like such smooth movement for somebody
yeah,
that old. He can dodge like 3-punch combinations and then counter with a 2-punch combo.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that punch count was pretty nice, man. I mean, look, I still say the fight was close and it could have went either way, but you know, it's not that far. You know, some people just hate Triple G so much that they're like, no way he won that fight. I'm like, come on, man. He could have won that fight. That fight was
Triple
close.
G fought off the back foot.
And not even really. If you go back on it, it was like it was on the back foot, but he still stood his ground. It was for a reason. It's to catch Canelo coming in, and he was able to. It's just that Canelo is super strong. You know,
That's
politics, I believe, played in his favor. You know, if the fight's close, we're going to give you, and the fight was close. You know, it was. Put it this way: if I'm someone that was asked to, like, hey, if the fight's close, give it to our guy, I would have no problem giving it to him because it was that close to me. It was a close fight, but I'm almost losing my train of thought.
Almost.
Fucking Charlo.
What do you mean almost?
Charlo.
You lost it, man.
Yeah, I lost it.
It's that X. X is doing voodoo on you, man, from afar.
Yeah, bastard.
That ecstasy.
But you know what?
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, Recognize. I get what you're saying about... Because, listen, let's put it this way. Did Canelo, he tried his darnest to push Triple G back, but you never saw him being able to do what Triple G did to him in the first fight, meaning Triple G's back never touched the ropes. Which means that he was controlling the action from afar and he was just taking little steps back, but he wasn't being pushed back, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, and even in the second fight, did Triple G's back hit the ropes?
In the second fight? I don't think so, man.
I think it did a handful of times, but he got off of it in less than 10 seconds.
I think Golovkin did have Canelo's back against the rope.
Oh, he definitely put Canelo on the ropes.
Maybe like a handful of times, maybe just not as much.
It was closer towards the end of the fight.
Right. To me, that was just an excellent. I mean, like, that was an excellent display of boxing from both guys. I was a little bit more impressed with Triple G. That's why I gave him the fight. But still, all in all, like, I cannot picture Charlo giving those guys problems. Like, maybe early, you know, out of respect for his explosiveness early, but they can neutralize that and take it into the deeper rounds, and he's dead. I think he gets chopped up.
Chopped up.
Yeah.
Like a Gambino soldier during a war.
Yeah.
Like you think
like
he gets
a Gambino, like little X after talking shit.
All right, listen.
From the wrong side of the neighborhood. Yeah.
In the
The
Puerto
wrong
Rican
neighborhood.
side. Yeah. In the Dominican side. Williams. Hold on. Let me just read a couple of comments from the youth chat rooms here. William Stammer says, at 13 rounds and at Fight Scout, I had it 8 rounds to 4 for Kovarov. Aldi for real says the Charlos are loudmouth perverts. Loudmouth perverts. The Quag says Triple G and Canelo would both KO Charlo with an overhand right. He sits right there in line for it. All right, so he agrees with you guys.
I definitely agree with that. I can see. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I can see what.
And the punches that Korobov hit him with were like clean on the jaw and the chin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And remember, Korobov has been like, you know, I'm sorry, BDA.
Go ahead.
Let's get this point. They kind of been, you know, Korobov has been neutralized. He's not really getting these big fights. He's having to like fluctuate and wait to make certain fights happen. You know,
he wasn't even supposed to get this one.
He's not right. He's not supposed to get this one, and he was able to go in there and at least in my opinion and in certain people's opinion, you know, we thought he pulled it off. You know, That 11 rounds to 1. I don't know. That's just straight bullshit.
That was utter garbage.
All right,
11 to 1.
let me just finish reading a couple of comments here from the chat room. Boxing Style says Triple G way KO Jermal, and he also says in the chat, in the private messages on Hangouts, that Vanes in shape beats everybody between 154 and 200 pounds. I'm kidding about that last part. I'm kidding about that.
Yeah.
I'm kidding about that last part. Jerson Medina says Gennady Golovkin is the Bill Cosby of jab perverts. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And that's a huge compliment because Bill Cosby, he's like undefeated and 0 with a 100% knockout ratio.
Nino Gadji says BDA, the Gambino soldiers would have fought somebody in the top 10. Oh, that's a dig at the Charles right there. Grievous says, I wonder how the Gambinos would have dealt with Eddie Hearn. Well, I tell you who they couldn't have dealt with, and that's Frank Warren, the bullet dodger. I don't think any of these fucking organized crime people can touch Frank Warren. He's too slippery for them. He can dodge bullets like nobody's business, let me tell you. All right, so listen, guys. Reverse and recognize. We're criticizing the Charlos for their performances tonight, as well we should, because, everybody, we were getting a lot of flack from a lot of their supporters about how these guys were young lions who were going to walk through everybody.
They've been saying that stuff for the same 2-3 years.
I know,
and they still haven't established any type of fame.
Especially not after tonight, but let's be real about it. The Charlos are young, they're physically talented, and here's the thing about us at BDA, we're not going to shit on the fighter just for the sake of shitting on them.
He's an officer. I know companies that are worth
Hold on a second. I need the quote here. This is the BDA quote of the year.
The guy's a CEO. I will never make a criticism if I don't have a resolution.
That's right. We don't just shit on fighters here. We tell people how to improve. All right? I got a couple of ideas of how the Charles could improve, but I want to hear from our panelists first. If they, let's start with the Reverse. Reverse. Well, actually, you already told us earlier in the show, but let's just see maybe if you change your mind. What can the Charlos do to improve going forward in their careers? Changing trainers, or just maybe reevaluating their career? Like, what do you think they should do or can do?
Change trainers, get better sparring partners. Learn how to properly fight. Stop reaching. Fight better opponents.
Now, do you think Jermal, or Big Jermal, Big Bro, do you think he should man up and rematch Kobrov, and that's the only way he's going to get better, to get into another tough fight and see if he can improve right away against the same guy?
I don't think he'll rematch Kobrov.
No, I know he won't, but I mean, do you think it would be? Do you think it would be wise for his career to getting tougher fights essentially?
Maybe
back to back, because the guys he'd been fighting lately, and that goes for both brothers. Not exactly the guys that were going to get them ready for Golovkin, Canelo, Billy Joe Saunders. Recognize, what do you think? Any suggestions for the Charlos going forward?
Yeah. Tougher opponents. Stop listening to people gas you up and tell you that you're the shit without having to prove anything.
That lion hat looks good on you.
Right. That blonde hair looks good on you. Yeah,
they need to change that.
And that you guys are the next coming, and all you have to do is, wait for the big money fight. If that's all you're in it for, then okay, fine. But if you really want to be the best, tougher sparring partners, getting your ass whipped in the gym is good, right? So it won't. Hopefully, it'll show up. It won't show up in the in a boxing fight. It won't show up in that, because experience makes you a better fighter.
Absolutely.
And you need somebody to keep it honest. Keep it honest with them. I don't think they get that. I think they get a lot of yes men, and yeah, you're the shit, you're the best. That's not gonna help you when you're getting your ass whipped.
How often do you think they get told in the gym, like, you're the N-word, you're the N-word, man, you're the N-word? Like, you think they get told
the real N-word?
Exactly. Yeah, you're the real N-word. You think they get told that a lot? Recognize?
All the time.
all the time.
I was so surprised when Jamel came back out with that lion hat. I felt as if me and the rest of the internet failed, and we did not do our job to properly roast him enough for wearing that the first time.
I agree. I don't think people roasted him enough for that ridiculous getup. But recognize, like Reverse said, that the Charlos should change trainers. Is that a little bit too premature right now for them to ditch the guys that have been with them for so long?
Well, I mean, if they have the kind of trainer that he would tell them, look, I think we need to step up the level of sparring partners and the level of techniques and experience that, sometimes getting your ass whipped in the gym and your trainer letting that happen to you, and especially if you trust your trainer, can sharpen up your skills, obviously, right? Because what's the first thing that happens when you get your ass beat? You kind of like, you have, first of all, you have this bad experience. You kind of tense up, and if you survive it, which they will, they're big boys, they'll survive an ass whipping. Yeah, they're gonna survive. They're treating them like they won't survive. In other words, like, oh my God, if my precious little Charlo's gym, it's gonna fuck up their confidence in the ring. No, if they really, you want to find out mentally where they're at, and if they're mentally in it to win it, to get better, get them tougher fights. Period. Whether it's in the gym, whether it's in the ring, get them this experience so that way, when it comes time for these kind of fights to shine, right? They look impressive. They beat these guys. They beat the Carnevals, who's sort of been neutralized ever since he's been knocked out by Andy Lee. Tony Harrison was a good fighter, but is a sort of a middle of the road kind of fighter. A guy with excellent technique, but maybe a bit chinny. Maybe there's some intangibles there that he's not able to get away with.
The heart is missing. The heart.
Right. I don't want to.
Let's keep it honest here. If the Charlos really wanted to improve, they would have done it already, because you don't really need a trainer to teach you all that stuff. Boxing is relatively simple. All they have to do is just go get the fight tape, review it, and just don't do all the stuff they saw in the video. If they had been doing that for even the last 7 months to 2 years, they would be a much improved upon fighter. But they're not going to do any of that.
But you know what?
Even if they did do it, anytime they get in the ring with somebody who doesn't lay down from 2 or 3 punches, they get instantly scared. If you look at Jamal, he was scared as hell of Korobov when he started landing on him. That's why he wouldn't actually go at him. Even when he put him on the ropes, he was still scared, and he didn't want to commit to any punches.
That's
he kept
a good
getting
point.
countered with the same punch over and over again.
Absolutely. Or he would get hit and he would shake his head and put his hands down and say no. That's not gonna win you the fight, man.
Let's be real. Brother. There's not that much to throwing punches. There's and fighting, right?
I agree.
There's just having the heart to go in there and fight.
And the issue is they already got they're on juice and stuff, so they already have
wait a minute.
terrific physical shape.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and that's why I agree with Reverse when he says that if they were gonna learn, they would have done it by now. If they were gonna try to get better, they would have done that by now. Not saying that they can. I'm just saying that there's too much hype when it comes to the Charlos. Is what I'm seeing, and it's from his fans. I don't think it's regular boxing fans who just call it like it is. It's the fanboys that we see on social media that just dying for them to be the guy that beats.
And those aren't even really real fans. Because if you're a real fan of somebody, be it even a fighter or a sports club, you'll criticize the guys for the stuff they do, so they can do it better next time.
Exactly. But that's the thing. Reverse, you said, oh, well, they have to rewatch the tape and stop doing what they did wrong. But these guys look at themselves every day in the mirror with that blonde hair, and they haven't changed it. So even if they have the mistakes in front of them, do you think they're going to change?
Yeah.
No.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. No, I think. By the way, I'm kidding, obviously, but I think they can change. Let me just go real quick to the chat room. Pop Tart Gun says that Charlos can improve by drinking Spence's breast milk. Now, let me tell you something. That is something. That's a visual.
How do you come up with something like that?
That's Pop Tart for you, man. That's a visual. That's a visual that I did not want in my head before going to sleep, man.
You know, Jermel actually does spar with Earl Spence.
Yeah, supposedly.
So that could be part of like his fight diet.
Oh, man. Oh, that is
I wonder who's getting their ass beat in that one.
Yeah, no, that's a good question, actually. You know what? I would actually venture to say that Errol Spence gets the best of him in sparring. Because he's a real middleweight, too, Errol Spence. He's a guy, he's a middleweight hiding over at welterweight.
147.
Yeah. By the way, can you imagine Charlo sucking on Spence's tits, and then you just see like the milk dribbling from the side, from the left side, just dribble. Ugh, disgusting.
That's gross.
That's like this stuff I was looking at earlier today, where it's like this dude, and it was like a comic, like pornography thing. He had this penis that was like a yard long.
I see.
And he stuck like the whole thing in there.
What?
And it went into the girl's like stomach. It was a cartoon like drawn thing though.
I thought you were talking real. I was about to ask you, where did you see that? Do you have a link?
What do you be
motion?
watching reverse?
Yeah.
Some crazy. There is a guy who like in real life, not even joking, he lives in Mexico. His penis goes down to like his ankles.
Oh yeah.
I
That
heard
guy,
about that dude. Yeah.
Yeah. What would you? Anyway, I was gonna ask a stupid question, but it's too late for those type of questions.
Well,
You didn't know he was gay.
Was that?
He's on the Guinness. He's in the Guinness Book record of the largest penis ever measured.
And he's also in the Guinness.
Thing about it is it's proportional, so it's also it's just as thick as it is long.
Isn't we talking about this? But yeah.
Isn't he also in the Guinness Book of Idiots? I think. I don't know. Could be. By the way, we get.
He's just trying to hide his Subway sandwich.
Oh, all right, that's enough. I'm gonna have nightmares, man, tonight. It's too late to be going down that road tonight on BDA. Let's try to keep it clean tonight. Zapata Boxing says, well, hold on. He had another comment that I wanted to read, Zapata. Oh yeah, he says the sisters. He calls them the sisters. The sisters were. The sisters were all hype. Now, see, I disagree. I think he's going a little too far with that. But he also had another comment. Fuck, I'm trying to find it here. He said, eventually, where's the fucking comment? See, you motherfuckers distracted me with.
In fairness to Zapata, because I'm subscribed to him, so I check out his videos. He's always said the Charlos ain't shit. Like he's always like, these guys are not good fighters.
Oh yeah, he's been. I mean, listen, he can take full credit for everything that happened this past night.
Well, put it this way: he just said they haven't really proved anything. Basically, that's what he said.
Well, I mean, oh yeah, here's the quote I wanted. He says he was talking about the Charlo. He was supposed to fight Charlo, but instead, no, he's talking about Monroe. He was supposed to fight Charlo, but instead they woke up a Russian cat an hour before the fight, and he still mollywopped him. Mollywopped.
Mollywop, that's right.
Mollywop.
Mollywop, that's old school.
And by the way, we also have a guy defending the Charlos, RR1000, the Terminator, and he says, well, the Charlos are getting hit, but that's the nature of the game. They can take a hit and come back. But the point is that if you're getting hit way more than you're hitting the other guy, you're losing the fight. Or am I wrong?
Tony Harrison's not a power puncher exactly, right?
Yeah.
Now, translate that to somebody like Hurd, who brings a lot of pressure. And even though he has I think at times he has poor punching technique. A lot of times he does.
Uh-huh.
But if he starts landing, getting in a rhythm, he could win on points at least, because he's going to be the aggressor. And maybe by knockout, right? And maybe, just maybe, in the PBC world, maybe they're not looking at Jamel as to be the next, moneymaker. Maybe they're looking at Hurd and saying, let's match them up. I have a feeling Hurd beats this guy.
Huh.
He beats him. He beats him pretty convincingly, where we can just, safely call it straight down the middle. And I think if they were to fight now, I would take her to beat him because
Oh.
he gets hit a lot.
But
Gets hit
hold
a lot.
on. The same. That like okay. There's two sides to that coin too, right? Like Hurd's gonna get hit plenty.
I agree. Hurd is going to get hit plenty, but I have more confidence that Hurd will not. His game plan won't break because he's getting hit.
Very
Hurd got
interesting.
hit with like 82 Tony Harrison punches and didn't even get a bruise.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, listen. He, like you said, he ate plenty of shots against Harrison. He ate plenty of shots against Austin Trout.
He actually lost just about every round of that fight until around the time he got his stoppage.
Yeah,
but
he looked like he was getting outboxed just about every round.
he can be outboxed. I mean, look, Austin Trout was bouncing shots off of his head. Lara more or less as well. I gotta ask how long this guy can keep taking punches, even if it's from smaller guys. How long can he keep taking flush shots to the head without it affecting him eventually?
Yeah, look,
Probably
I would
for a good little while, as long as he's fighting people smaller than him.
Right. That's right. And Jermel's smaller than him. Not by much, but there's a slight size advantage for Hurd. And I even though I would pick Hurd to beat him, I would give Jermel a good shot to beat him as well, of course.
Right.
But the confidence level that they might have behind the scenes, I'm talking about PBC here. It might be leaning towards Hurd at this point. I mean, look, they gave a close decision to a close fight where I thought that the A side would have gotten, and even deservingly so. Not an impressive performance. I'm not saying that, but they gave it to the B side.
Right. Yeah, that's. I gotta tell you, I was pretty shocked when I saw that. Let me just go real quick to the chat room here because I don't want to make this too long. It is pretty late tonight. But Ko Matsuda in the chat room says the Charlotte sisters aren't that good. Pop Tart Gun says the Charlos lose in a war with Hurd. Shepherd the Sun says Hurd's will and stamina is insane. Boxing Style says Hurd is on a punch diet. The Quack says if Korobov had more punching power, they'd be chalking off around Jermel's body. Yeah, that would be a murder scene if Kobrov could punch. Fight Fan Phil says, and this is where I was going. He says Jaime Munguia is waiting in the wings of a Tijuana bar somewhere, watching. Munguia, aka Goro, as people like to call him here in the chat room. This guy's another giant hiding over at 154. What do you guys think about him?
Munguia?
I think he's kind of a bum.
I wouldn't go that far, but he's beatable.
Yeah,
he's beatable, but
he's the Mexican Jarrett Hurd.
Well said.
Correct.
Very well said. Without the ridiculous haircut.
Right, without the crazy haircut.
That would actually be a really good fight. They should make that fight next.
I agree.
That could be fight of the year.
I'll pay money for that. Fuck
I would pay good money for that. I would actually pay money for that. By the way, before we continue, I see we've got Jimmy in the Hangout. You know what that means.
What's going on, guys? I had a bad trip at a wedding in Maine, and it was a stormy night, right? I'm on LSD. Oh, I was fucking freaking out. It was horrible. I'll never take it again.
By the way, I just realized
save these issues. I gotta save that for my grandkids.
Sorry to interrupt, but I forgot. We didn't even play reverse. I didn't play your intro, did I? You caught me off guard.
You did.
Yeah, you did.
Oh yeah, I did. Jesus, I told you guys it's late. That's why I'm losing my train of thought here. All right, Jimmy, thank you for being on. Always glad to have you on board. We're talking about the Charlos. Did you catch the fights?
Yes, I did. Actually. I thought the first Charlo got robbed, and I thought the second Charlo got a gift. My opinion.
Mm-hmm. And
I thought the second fight. This is what happened. I didn't see the last round of the Charlo fight, the second fight, because the fucking kid, had it 3 hour on a DVD.
Oh.
And it timed out. So I jumped in my car and I left. And on the way home, I noticed you were on. But he didn't knock him out or anything, did he?
No, he almost dropped him, but Kobrov, with that sneaky Soviet style, was able to stay away.
If Kobarov, like I've been saying for a while, if that kid had any power, because he doesn't hit hard at all. You can just see the way he throws his punch. It's all arm punches. If he had any crack at all, Charlo would have been in trouble because he was even rocked a couple of times. Anytime you see a fighter nod to another fighter, they don't do that to say, "Oh, that was a good punch." They do that to say, "Okay, yeah, you got me. You cooked me." You know, he nodded to him on a few occasions. No, he caught him. He was catching him. I mean, all night with those lefts. He was just fucking eating that left all night. I'll tell you, I was so unimpressed by his balance. I never seen somebody get a fucking kid in such good shape be out of balance after every punch. He was stumbling over his feet. He couldn't cut the ring off.
Who you talking about, Jimmy?
The middleweight Charlo.
Big bro.
Both of them, actually. I wasn't impressed by either fucking footwork. You know what's happened? They've completely fallen in love with their power. Both of them thought they were going to go out there and one-shot those guys.
That's why I call them. I call especially the big one. I call him a street fighter. Like Wilder. Wilder's a street fighter. Those are street fighters. BDA. They don't know how to control their aggression. They just don't. When they get somebody hurt, they're winging it, and they're winging it from long distance.
Jumping in. I mean, jumping across, no head movement, no fading in, no ducking, no going to the belly first, nothing. Jimmy, just jumping in.
You know boxing.
Yes.
You know boxing. You've been living it all your life, so you know that's the wrong way to set up your punches. You don't just air it out. You know, you just in a street fight maybe because you're dealing with bare knuckles, and I get it. You know, you could. All it takes is one punch to like just win the fight. Like literally in a street fight, that's different. But in a boxing fight, when you're dealing with professionals,
and he's so much more athletic than Kobarov. You know what I mean? He had the length, he had the frame on him. He can hit. I mean, anytime he had him in the corner, how many times did he get him to the ropes? Why wouldn't he go to the belly there, bring his hands down just once, try to catch him up clean, try to set something up? He just never tried to change anything up. Didn't try to change his angles. I don't know. He was hoping to catch him with that right hand all night, and he kept missing all night long.
Yeah, because he was trying to get the timing, but Korobov was really good at being very inconsistent with his timing. Because it was always at a different second, and you couldn't really tell because sometimes he'd do one feint, sometimes he'd do 5 feints.
500, I mean, what, 300 some odd, you know, pro fights. I mean, amateur fights. Was a gold. Well, he fought for Russia with the Olympics. I mean, these guys are well trained.
He beat Daniel Jacobs.
Oh, yeah, in the Olympics, right?
Yeah, and I think it was the Olympics, or it was some amateur tournament that he beat him up.
Yeah, that's right. No, Karabov did beat him.
And he gave Kovalev a real tough.
I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was the Olympics. That's the only. Did he beat
Usaki? Sure. Did he beat the 168-pound champion kid too from Colombia? Was it him who beat? Was it
Uzgatski early in his career? He beat him. Yeah.
All right.
It was a good fight. It was a good fight, but he won that fight.
But Uzcategu was green, right? He's not. He was. Yeah. He's not the fighter he is today. Like the
no. I would give Ugatsky. I'd butcher his name, but I'd give it him. He's actually my favorite 168-pound pounder right now.
He's mine as well.
He's fighting Caleb Plant
I like
next.
That kid.
He's fighting undefeated Caleb Plant next. I think next year.
Oh, Caleb Plant! Oh my God.
He should win that
fucking
fight.
Cure for insomnia.
Oh, wait a minute.
Hey, by the way, anybody knows who won that fight between Brazil and Negron?
Yeah, Brazil slept his ass.
He hit him in the side of the neck and put him to sleep.
I'm surprised the fucking state commissioner let him Brazil fight without a bra though. Them fucking titties were slapping all over the ring.
He had more bounce to him than an Atlanta stripper. And all that flab around his stomach too.
He had more.
It's like watching a giant piece of Jello fight.
He had more tits than one of X's hoes from Atlanta.
Oh no! Wait a minute. Is that where it's gonna go? This podcast right away?
No, but it was just come on, man, get yourself in better shape. You're an ex-football player. I mean, not everybody's gonna be ripped, but come on.
Right.
Look like you didn't even take it serious.
Yeah, man.
I mean, just hoping to throw, get the land a knockout shot.
This guy
really, if Negron was smart, he could have won that fight.
Let me tell you something. Korobov, to me, man, he fucking I felt like in just about every round he got Charlo's attention.
Yeah,
It was like
Absolutely.
whether he was shaking him up a little bit or just snapping his head back. It just seemed like he when it comes to the power, he was able to sneak able to sneak those in every round just about.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, man, that's not you don't want to do that with guys like Canelo or Triple G or even Jacobs, bro.
Canelo would take his head off. Canelo would put his back against the ropes. He'd let him get wild, and he would counter him. He would miss with one of those big rights, and fucking Canelo would catch him with one of his hooks.
Well, Jimmy, I'll ask you the same thing I ask Reverse and Recognize, because here at BDA Boxing, we don't just like to criticize fighters. We actually like to give some solutions to the problems as we see them. If you were the Charlo's manager, handler, or whatever, what would you change, if anything, going forward right now?
Their mindset. Get out of the fucking banging people out with their power. They're both incredible athletes. Natural born athletes. Both got credible power. They both could have won that fight if they just would have worked right. I guarantee you Rozier must have been flipping out in the corner. For the first Jamal.
Yeah,
I thought he did win that fight. I thought Harrison got a gift, but still, it shouldn't even have come down to that. Harrison's been knocked out twice late in fights.
Uh-huh.
That's right. I forgot who was the first one. I'm drawing a blank on that.
In the 9th round, twice he got knocked out.
It was Willie Nelson.
I know he got knocked out by Hurt, but who was the other one that knocked him out?
Willie Nelson.
Yeah, Willie Nelson.
And then Johnny Cash later. But listen, this fucking guy, Rozier, he was telling Charlo, like, listen, don't go too nuts on the knockout. Like, let it come, let it flow. And it never really quite flowed against Harrison. It just seemed like I said, too tight. I like Recognizes analogy of saying that, or description rather, of Charlo more as a fighter than an actual boxer, because Jimmy, I was telling these guys, the difference between the top 3 middleweights right now and the rest is that the top 3 or top 4 middleweights, if you really want to go that far, they have wrinkles to their game. Like, that's the difference between elite and simply world class. And I think the Charlos, they lack those wrinkles right now in their game. The feints, changing levels, punch selection, combinations. It was all jab, jab, overhand, right? Jab, jab, right hook, jab, jab, right hook.
Well, it's like, for me, for instance, even especially with hockey, because I had to work harder at hockey. It didn't come to me as easy as boxing. But if you play with kids and they're just not as good as you, yeah, you can go out in the fucking, in the rink. I used to be able to play with guys, weekend warriors, go out and skate circles around them and do tricks and shit. But all I was doing was setting up bad habits, skate with my head down, none of that shit's going to help you in a game when other kids are good. You know what I mean? When you're playing against other people. So the problem with no hope is fighting guys who just, really aren't going to win. You develop bad habits. And then all of a sudden you get in there with a kid like Harrison, who's got a excellent jab. It just he didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to cut off the ring. He didn't know to let his hands go when he had them. I mean, everything's one shot. I mean, did either Charlo throw a 4-punch combo at any time during either fight? 20 rounds of boxing or 24 rounds of boxing. Did anybody throw a 4-punch combo?
Definitely not Big Charlo, no.
It was just 1-2s, fucking jab, or just setting it up, jumping in with the big right hand.
They would throw 4 punches, but it would be like 4 haymakers in a row that would miss.
And those backhand slaps he's trying to do,
which are actually illegal.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing how much guys get away with that. When I
forgot
back in the day, you couldn't do that shit. You backhand slap somebody, they give it all over you.
I remember. So I got into a debate with someone, I forgot who he was, about a fighter that I forgot who the fighter was, but he had a habit of throwing punches and backhanding. And then I said, that's illegal. And then he brought up, well, Manny Pacquiao does. I'm like, no, Manny Pacquiao throws the punch from a back, but he lands with knuckles. Mm-hmm. He lands with the knuckle. You're allowed to throw the punch whichever way you want. It's just you can't land like you're fucking backhanding someone. You got to land with the knuckle punch, or you can't hit somebody with the palm of the glove. So sometimes, yes, Manny Pacquiao will shoot off I think it's just part of his deception of punching, but he would always land knuckle of the glove.
Yeah, that's the thing
Before-
about.
It's actually how Tommy Hearns throws punches the same way. He starts it off with like the back of his hand facing you, and then he like flicks it out. But at the end of the punch are his knuckles and his fingers.
Yes. Yeah. You see, with boxing gloves, you can do that. Right? Bare knuckles, obviously, I would not recommend you to do that. but
if you bare knuckle fight somebody, just pick up a brick.
Well, yeah.
You know who I would love to talk to about bare knuckle fighting would be that bare knuckle guy, underground champ, Tommy Gunn. You know, he's actually.
Oh yeah. Tommy Gunn probably should.
I was watching a video of his where he's showing you the difference between a left hook in boxing and a left hook in a street fight. And essentially, he said that in a street fight, you throw it the same way Golovkin throws it. You know, like you twist the palm so that you're really only hitting making sure you're only hitting with the two knuckles of the hand. And he hits the punching by whap-af. And he shows you a close-up of the bag, and he's got a big fucking dent on that bag. Let me tell you something. I would not like to get hit on the fucking eye socket from a Tommy Gunn punch. That guy can crack.
Yeah,
without gloves.
There's certain men that are built to break face when they land bare knuckle. You know, there's just certain. You know, there's a lot of science to it. I mean, like for instance, if you take a man's hand and it's half as big as a guy's head, that should tell you that if he hits him, he's gonna break his face.
Exactly. And by the way, let me just make sure I'm not butchering the names. It's not Tommy Gunn. I said Tommy Gunn. I meant to say Bobby Gunn. It's the name of the guy.
Bobby Gunn.
Isn't Tommy Gunn the guy with AIDS?
Exactly. Yeah, that was
Tommy Gunn, the guy with AIDS who doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, come on. Jeez. It's Christmas. Listen, you guys should relax a little bit on Christmas. You shouldn't be this mean as we near the birthday of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That's just me. I don't know. Could be wrong. I think you guys got a little out of hand.
Amen,
you probably are.
Amen.
I think you guys are getting a little bit out of hand. Just a little bit.
No, I wasn't insulting nobody.
Nah, you insulted him a little bit. You insulted him a little bit. You got a little out of hand yourself.
You sound like Goodfellas. You insulted him a little bit there. You sound like De Niro. I insulted him a little bit.
I didn't insult nobody. I didn't insult nobody. Okay.
Drinks.
That either had to be a joke at Tommy or it had to be a joke at BDA.
It was both, man. It was both. I recognize drinks are on the house.
Salud, fellas. Salud.
I'm sorry. Go home and get your fucking box. Your shine box. Motherfucker. Motherfucker. That's the best box.
You fucking piece of shit.
No. You insulted him a little bit. You got a little out of order yourself.
No, I didn't insult him.
Insulted him a little bit.
Oh man.
How about I like the beginning of that. He goes like, and give those Irish hoodlums a drink over there.
Give those Irish. I know, man.
And De Niro tells him there's only one Irishman over here.
Exactly.
Dude, it's crazy because when I was a little kid back in the 70s, like you didn't go anywhere. Like every city you would go to was sectioned off like that. It was the Irish, the Italian, and fucking. Yeah, no, it was crazy. Everybody would call you. It was just like that. You get that Frenchman over there, it was just funny. It's so weird how things have changed.
Well, it sounds like BDA Boxing. Everybody addresses each other by their ethnicity. I like that Mexican guy. Hey, that Brit guy. Hey, that Puerto Rican guy. There's no names here.
Oh no, you can't say that now, man. That's
well, as long, you can, as long as it's. I mean, let's be honest. You can cut the fucking up white people all you want. You got LeBron James calling NFL owners slave owners. You got a guy at 19 years old who bought a $500,000 watch.
Oh,
talking about fucking white slave owners. Shut the fuck up.
I want that type of slavery to come back.
Yeah, give me that.
Slavery really was like that. I say, slavery kumbaya.
It's just like, fucking come on, dude. What the fuck do you know about oppression?
I had that same issue with a footballer named Raheem Sterling. His transfer worth is like $100 million. He drives a private jet, and he has a private jet.
Wait, he drives it
like $1 million sports cars, and he says that he doesn't feel properly appreciated by the Premier League.
Well, that sounds
Even
like
though his team just lost to a club ranked in like the 10s.
Isn't there that guy that like fucking took a cheap shot at somebody and he made himself the victim somehow?
No.
I'm talking about the football the soccer guy. What's his name again?
Raheem Sterling.
I don't know. I saw something happen where
Sounds like a nice Irish boy.
No, wait,
Yeah.
is he white or
Yeah.
Raheem Sterling? Yeah, Raheem, brother Raheem. Listen,
He's black
with the
Irish.
yeah, yeah, black Irish. I also wanted to get a little bit into the Carl Frampton versus Warrington because
Shit, I didn't even see that fight today.
it was a good fight.
I heard Frampton got his ass beat.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say ass beat, but he certainly lost the fight. Let's just put it that way.
I picked Warrington to win that fight. Wow, why did I forget it was today?
I thought he would win too.
Well, let me tell you, I thought Frampton was going to win, and I was proved wrong. Warrington is a beast in there.
Where did you get that from?
Well, because here's my reasoning was that Frampton likes it when guys come to him. But here's the problem. Warrington would go inside and he would start throwing hooks.
I think he
hooks,
likes
hooks.
him to come in him too.
Oh, now wait a minute. What's? I told you, motherfuckers. I told you, motherfuckers. I don't want to take it there today. I told you, and
No,
here you are.
You just set that up.
You started it
nicely,
earlier
man.
when you read a comment that talked about one man drinking another man's breast milk.
Yeah, but I didn't.
Is this where you want to be when Jesus comes, making fun of poor gay people?
Exactly. Exactly. Good point, Jimmy. Jimmy has always been the equilibrium in this fucking degenerate podcast. Yeah, Fight Fan Phil says Christ is watching, and he's none too happy.
This is true. This is true. Christ is watching.
Well, listen, just long story short, I thought Frampton was gonna be able to grind Warrington down as Warrington tried to come in.
Grind, yeah, I bet.
Oh, come on, Jesus. Oh.
The reason why I'd never pick a kid Frampton again is because once a fighter starts talking about retiring, he's already retired. He started that 2 fights ago. Remember, this might be my last fight. Once your mindset's already there, once you get that big payday from that first Leo fight, remember when he fought him in his backyard in New York?
Oh, yeah.
Santa Cruz, next time let him fight in my country.
You did fight him in your country, New York.
I know, but that was awesome, remember? But, yeah, no, he was talking about retiring after then. Usually once a fighter's mind's out of it, he's talking like that, he's already gone, you know?
I tell you what the first mistake was for Frampton. No, he wasn't punching down the middle. Usually when you have a guy winging hooks at you coming forward, you do the old 1-2 left uppercut. Frampton didn't do that. He exchanged hooks with the motherfucker, and he wasn't effective.
He was hurt.
And he was hurt. Is that what you said?
After he was hurt.
Exactly. After, yes, thank you. He was hurt. What was it? From the first round on, right?
It was the first round.
Yeah. He got stunned by Warrington. See, that's the other thing. People say, oh, you know, if a guy has 6 knockouts, he can't punch. Don't rely on the record. A punch is a punch. And if a guy's winging it and you just get your hands down and you take that flush on the chin, I don't care if you're Billy Badass, you're going to get wobbled. Simple as that.
Damn, what a fucking knockout White did to Chisora, man.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
That was hilarious.
Damn.
He laid clean on the floor. He was like, you know those things that the police make when somebody's on the floor and they do a little outline?
Yeah, the chalk outline, yeah.
That's what he looked like. He looked like he was in the middle of a jumping jack.
Did you see him like trying to get up and then he fainted? Like he just like moved a little bit and then he just fainted.
He was like his eyes closed all the way. Then he kind of woke up 3 seconds into the knockdown.
And then he fell back to sleep again.
Yeah, he went back to sleep.
That's a brutal knockout, bro. Oof.
By the way, we got McGregor Boxing on the line. McGregor, are you there?
Yeah, what's up?
What's up, McGregor?
Good to have you on board, McGregor. You want to give us your take on the Charlos, or you want to talk about Chisora White?
Well, the first fight, the Jermell Charlo against Tony Harrison, he scored at a draw. He wasn't effective enough. He didn't do enough. Tony Harrison did enough to get a draw. I didn't think he should have won the fight, but there you go. You don't do enough, you can lose a fight. It happens.
Exactly.
Then the next fight, Jermall, he looked like he struggled with the angles Karabov was giving him for a few rounds. He was worthy of the victory, but not by much, and I think Karabov made it difficult for him. And yeah, I don't see why people think Golovkin or Canelo is ducking him, because I feel like they'd be looking at him as an easy touch.
I agree. Totally agree, man.
Yeah, it's certainly starting to seem that way.
It's just that nobody wants to deal with that side.
Yeah.
You know, like, look, take Canelo for instance. He's clearly the A side. His motto is like, yeah, I'll fight you as long as you recognize that I'm fucking the A side and you're like the C. You know, that's it. You're gonna play by my rules, and that's the end of it.
Recognize everything you just said is what I tell women before we go into the bedroom.
Yes, you got to tell them.
I call the shots.
Listen, things are gonna go my way.
Exactly.
Okay. It might hurt a little bit. Not the part, not the act. I'm talking about when I leave.
Oh, right. Exactly.
When it's over, I'm just gonna.
I mean, the act.
Yeah. Did like when she says, "Are you ready?" You're not ready. You just be like, "Well, you're not ready to be fucked and never thought of again."
Exactly. Right. That's the part that they're not ready for.
Exactly.
And you also have to tell them. This is a really important rule. Once it starts, it doesn't stop. When you having sex with a woman is like being in the mafia. Once you're in, you're in.
I agree.
Tell them once it starts, it doesn't stop. That's just
it's like it has to. It's like the mafia. Once I'm in, I'm in.
Reverse. Didn't you once tell me that you usually tell women like don't say no because it only makes me go faster or something like that? Like
no,
it only makes you stronger.
You came up with.
It only makes
I never said anything.
Yeah,
like
you said that. You said
that.
You said that no and screaming
fast.
help actually makes you stronger.
No, I didn't say that.
All right, then
I
maybe
mean, I live by the rule.
I
live by the rule. The more tears there are, the more lube there is. So.
What? I didn't hear. What'd you say?
I live by the rule that the more tears there is,
the
more lube there is.
No. Listen, what did I tell you, motherfuckers? I said, let's keep it clean.
Yes,
let's
before.
keep it
Well,
clean.
you didn't tell me. I hadn't. I wasn't a part of that.
Well, listen, ignorance of the rules is not a valid excuse. That's what cops always say, and I will reiterate that point right here, right now.
Well, I'm invoking white privilege.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah. Well, I'm a Mexican, so I can't beat white privilege. Actually,
right.
no, I'm not a Mexican.
Yeah,
I'm transracial now. I'm transracial. I came out as transracial a couple of weeks ago, so.
Transracial.
I told you guys I'm transracial now.
You know, the first time I ever
What is a transracial?
I don't know.
There's this video about this black girl who says that she's a white girl and that she just has tan skin.
Oh, so Michael Jackson.
That's really tan skin.
Well, that's actually the new thing on Instagram now. All these white girls are getting extremely tan and getting braids so that they actually kind of look black. And now black people are getting angry because they're saying,
"Well, I'm trans-violent, bro."
Trans-violent?
Trans-violent.
Oh, trans-violent. I don't even know what the hell that is.
What it means is, if you're trans, I'm gonna break your face in.
Oh, no. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. We want to just reiterate here that, where's the sign here?
On the, we got
the disclaimer.
The BDA podcast.
My views are not BDA's disclaimers.
Everybody look at the screen. We have the disclaimer there that the views expressed in this show by our panelists are not the views of BDA or King Bucho, the two creators of this channel. So just want to keep that out there. All right.
You guys ever been watching TV and you accidentally think something really gay?
No,
gay?
I've never been watching TV and thought of anything excessively gay.
No, so like I was watching TV like 2-3 weeks ago, and I know McGregor, you watch football, right?
What do you mean by football? Are you talking
like European football? European football.
Yeah. Yes.
There's this curly-haired dude on Arsenal. What's his name?
There's a couple, dude. Probably. It's the one beginning with G, whose name no one can pronounce, right?
He's like 20. He's like number 29.
Where is this going, man?
Yeah. It's like Gambuzi or something.
Yeah,
let him finish
or something
BDA.
like that. He came on the screen because I saw he was getting subbed on, and I thought to myself, I said, "Wow,
He
that dude is
came on
really."
the screen.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he was getting subbed on, and I thought to myself, like, "Wow, that guy is really pretty." Now, what I'm trying to find out is that gay or not?
Well, when I was watching Arsenal play, I was thinking, wow, they're pretty shit.
I mean, no, you can tell a fucking. I mean, you don't have to be, want a cock in your mouth to know if a dude looks like a bag of hammers, or if
I don't even entertain the thought. I don't even entertain the thought. I've never gone, oh, you know what? He's a decent looking lad. I've never thought that ever in my life.
I always do when I'm out the club with a hot chick. I always try to spot because I always want to see which is the players because they're the guys are going to try to go after your girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me explain. I have a 14-year-old daughter, right? And sometimes I'll go to her school, right, to pick her up, and I'll look at these little young ones and I'll be like, okay, you see that little young kid right there? He's a good-looking kid. I could see my daughter, might say, oh, he's cute.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kid I'm gonna keep my eye out on.
Really?
If I have to kill him one day.
I saw this anime where
kids,
it was the dude had his daughter, and she was playing with like a 5-year-old, and the father threatened the kid with a gun.
Was the guy retarded? Like he had Down syndrome? Was he? What's his name? What's the name of the guy who played the movie? The movie where he played a retard. What's his name? The guy who was in Colors. Sean Penn. Remember that movie Sean Penn did where he played a retard?
That's like all of Sean Penn's movies.
Oh, now hold on a minute. By the way,
I'm sorry, but his acting alone in the role of Milk was retarded.
Let's not go. Let's not talk about that movie.
I just watched the movie of his. What was it called? It's called At Close Range. I don't even know why I watched it. It wasn't a bad movie, but he does act retarded.
He's a fag.
Was that the movie with Jennifer Lopez also?
No, it was called At Close Range. It was like a movie that came out in the 80s or the 90s.
I looked this dude up on Google. He has a big Jewish nose.
Okay, okay. All right. Hold on.
Yeah,
It was that movie with Sam I Am or something with Sam. That was when he played the retarded guy with the little girl.
Yeah, I think it was Retard Sam. That was the name, right, of the movie?
Yeah, it was Sam I Am.
Slant-eyed Sam. No, listen. This stream is gonna get shut down. We just had Recognize admit that he would be willing to kill a 14-year-old child.
Yes.
Now we got Reverse. What did Reverse just say?
Because I think he's a good-looking kid. That's why.
Yeah. So there you have it.
You should be willing to kill yourself for thinking a kid's good-looking.
Oh my goodness gracious! Listen.
Well, let me.
14.
I'm looking at the kid and saying, "Would my daughter like him?"
You're what?
Come up with my daughter.
I'm so drunk.
How do you know what 14-year-old girls like?
Oh, I know.
And McGregor, are you Irish?
Used to be one, man.
McGregor, are you Irish?
I used to have long hair at one point.
What's that be doing?
Oh, hold on a second.
I turned into a man in my later
Steven
years.
Schneider just donated to the super chat. Shout out to Steven Schneider. He's keeping us alive, man. Steven Schneider, with all his contributions. I mean, he's keeping this organization going. And we're sending that money back, obviously, to McGregor through a benevolent association, which is actually IRA. That's how they do it, the Irish. You can't trust the Irish. When they come up to you and they go like, "Oh, would you like to donate $5 for the blah blah blah?" And it goes to the IRA. Don't get it twisted.
Man, it's going. I'll tell you where it's going. It's going directly towards 12-year-olds to give them a brighter future. They're going to be going into bomb making class so that they can bomb train stations next year.
All right.
You're creating the next Nelson Mandela's.
Where do you live, McGregor? Which part of the UK? Dublin, huh? Dublin. No kidding, brother. I love Ireland. I went there in 2001. Beautiful country.
I'm sorry for your loss.
No, I heard it's nothing like it was. I went to France, Germany. I went all over Europe and back in 2001, and everybody I still keep in contact say, "Dude, you wouldn't even believe it. Nothing like it was."
Hey, by the way, Jimmy,
Ireland's
you said
actually genuinely gone to shit.
That breaks my heart, bro. Really does.
Jimmy, you've been to Morocco too. Then, if you went to France,
Put it this way, you know what's fucked up? When I was there,
By default.
like here, like you go into New York City, of course, you got minorities what make up the gangs. When I was in Paris, it just started then. This was 2000. You just started seeing like all these Syrian guys. Well, I don't know if they were Syrian, that's what they call them now, but their projects near the. Because I would try to find weed when I was there, but he sent me the projects, and their projects were full of Middle Easterns. But back then, you could. They're telling me now, if you went there now, you'd be killed. But back then, they would try to sell you trinkets on the street. You'd be handful, and the police would chase them away. Now the fucking streets that you'd walk down and get your picture taken is tents and garbage and feces on the ground.
well, sounds like my apartment.
It's amazing.
How do you take a dump on the ground and just leave it there? You're
Oh, it's
supposed to
pretty
at
easy.
least throw some dirt or some sand over it. Even cats know to do that.
It's
Why would
pretty
you even
easy.
take a
Bruce.
dump in the middle of the street? That's the
I mean,
better
some
question.
people just don't have money
Well,
for a toilet.
if you even to this day, you go anywhere near like you go to like Africa and you go to big cities, Nairobi and in the Congo, and this is a city, cabs going in, and people just line up along the fucking canal, hang their ass over the edge, and drop deuce.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Swear to
Okay,
God,
listen.
broad daylight.
How do we get
Shit
here?
in the river.
How do we get to this conversation? You motherfuckers! I'm trying to keep this episode straight for once, and you start talking about assholes and ass cheeks out the window and shit all over the floor.
Taking dumps in French rivers and fucking.
Well, I gotta tell you.
I mean, I've seen it in New York, bro. I mean, they do that same shit here sometimes.
Nah. Listen, we're not gonna start. We're not. That's for another episode. The shit, BDA shit, shitting on the street episode. We're gonna keep this. We're gonna keep this boxing.
The booty debate arena.
Exactly. Listen, here to keep it straight is precise.
Depending upon how you interpret the data.
What's up with all the transvestites in Hollywood, though?
Because if you're a postmodernist and you don't have any standards, you're always going to keep moving the goalpost, and you're never going to stick to your own standards because you don't have any standards.
That's right. You gotta have fucking standards. Precise, are you there?
Hello. What's up?
Hello, Precise. Good to have you on board. I know I need your help, man, to set these people straight here tonight. I don't know if they drank too much or something, but the conversation is
What
not
the
going.
fuck did I walk into?
Exactly,
Hey,
as
can I
always.
just say, Precise, I echo your sentiment in your intro about the postmodernist and the
Here we go.
goalpost, dude. That perfectly put, bro.
Here we go. Are we gonna talk about trannies again? What's up?
No, I was just saying that was perfectly put, man. I'm complimenting you, bro.
No,
I'm
I
all
know.
transed out, man.
Oh shit!
All
Just
right,
busting your balls,
many-
Jimmy. How you doing?
How
How
you
many
doing,
trans
brother?
have you
How you
had,
doing?
McGregor?
I wasn't on the trans combo. That wasn't me.
All right, listen. I want to Precise. Did you please tell me you watched the fights tonight, the Charlo fights,
I watched one fight tonight.
and which one was that?
I think it was the main event between the Russian and the gay Charlo brother.
The game.
The one that's always wearing pink and dyeing his
Right.
hair.
Oh, well, listen,
That
Kobarov, like people were saying in the chat room, he got off the couch after a year and a half, and in my eyes, and in the eyes of many people, he took Charlo to school. What did you think? What did you see?
I gave the fight to Charlo. I wasn't really scoring it like that, but I thought he did just a little bit more. A draw would have been fair, I thought, but fuck it. I gave it to him. But I wasn't really scoring it like that, you know?
What about all this talk that some people were saying about the Charlos being hungry lions that were going to walk through Canelo and Golovkin?
Danny Jacobs would have schooled that boy tonight, man. Suletsky would have schooled that boy tonight. Come on, man. Look, Charlo, you know, he's talented physically. He's big for the weight. He's strong. He's fast. He takes a good punch, apparently. But he's just straight up and down stiff with no footwork, flat-footed, no head movement. I mean, the guy can't box. I'm sorry. He got no boxing skill. He's a 1-2-3 kind of guy. A counter left hook. You know, that's all he got. So you put someone in there with boxing skill, like Canelo or Danny or Triple G, and he's going to get exposed. Now, Matt, you know, I don't mean to downgrade the guy because He's a good fighter. He never really proved anything in the pros, but he's got some skill. But this was the worst version of Cordoba I have ever seen, man. He was just going through the motions, not taking any chances. His fluidity is gone. Like, he's just not the same fighter. And we saw what Andy Lee did with a prime Korobov, and Charlo struggled. What can you say? He's got no boxing brain. I think that's why he struggled.
You just echoed the sentiments of everybody that was here earlier, like when we were talking about it, and everybody in the chat room. It seems like that. Here's my point of view. Also, the way I put it was that Charlos lack the extra wrinkles that separate the top 3 or 4 middleweights from the rest. I mean, the Charlos don't faint. They don't go to the body. It's all like you said, 1-2, 1-2, and also like other people said as well. They keep their head in the same fucking place.
Yeah,
they don't
no
move their head.
movement. I mean, and if he does move his head, it's like left, right, left, right. All right, how fucking predictable can you be?
Exactly. So I mean, well, look, listen, the Charlos. I've defended the Charlos in the past in terms of I do think they're good. I'm not saying they're pieces of crap.
Yeah,
but
they're top 10 in their divisions.
Good conditioning. I mean, he wasn't breathing through his mouth in the final round. If you want to give compliments, right? Right. That's a. I hear a lot. Yeah.
He's lucky. He's lucky Korobov can't punch, man. That guy's just a slapper. He's lucky the dude can't punch.
Yeah, that's what people were saying also before. Like he still
arm punches.
Was that?
Arm punches, Korobov. Yeah, arm punches. He doesn't twist. He doesn't throw. Bend at the hips, bend at his knee when he throws his power. He was catching him. If he could crack, I mean, he was catching him clean with that left all night.
Yeah,
right on the button too. If he had any zip behind that, could have put Charlo down.
Yeah, I think that's what Daniel Jacobs recognized when he stepped up to Jermell Charlo or Big Bro in public. Because Jacobs knows. I mean, he's a top 3-4 middleweight. He's been in there with Golovkin, Sulecki, Deryachenko. He knows an inferior fighter when he sees one, and he knows that Charlo lacks that extra dimension to be really slippery and take it. In other words, here's the way I put it: is he tried to take it to the next level. He tried to shift gears, and it just didn't quite work out. Like he doesn't have that extra gear, Charlo. Either Charlo to pull off his stuff.
Neither one was really developed, right? I mean, how do you go from fighting straight up bumps to not really a great fighter, but it was too big of a step up too, probably. But
exactly, there's levels. They've skipped levels. They just went from no hopers to, and the fact that the most alarming thing, if I was in their corner, is they couldn't close distance with guys who don't hit hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different story when you got a jab like Triple G, like a piston. But Harrison doesn't crack hard. He was keeping him off him.
They do this shit that a lot of American fighters do. They keep their feet way too fucking wide and they drag their back foot behind them, and they could
drives me crazy, brother.
I know.
Sorry, drives me crazy that stance. Oh.
But isn't that supposed to be good for power? Keeping those.
The only usefulness I can see that would have is if you're fighting a guy with an opposite stance. That can sometimes, if you have longer legs than him, that can make it difficult for him to get to you because your feet are always in the way.
It's good for power if you got a guy that just stands in front of you, but when someone starts moving, you can't catch up to him because you're dragging your back foot behind you. And I don't know. I mean, guys, have we ever been impressed by either one of the Charlos?
No.
Right, exactly. And the wider your feet are, when you miss, the wider your feet, the bigger the miss, and the more off balance you are.
Not only that, when you do that, you give your opponent enough time to back up and break the punch as well. So you're not even really catching them flush,
Right.
It's just a waste. It's just a waste of movement. It's a waste of throwing punches, man. Look, a street, like I said, bare knuckles. Yeah, anything can happen. Boxing. You gotta control your aggression. You just have to. There's a reason why guys who just bombs away usually get exposed pretty early in their career.
Your feet got to get you there first. You can't be dragging them behind you. Your feet are supposed to get you in position and then you punch. And he does it in reverse. He throws punches and leaves his feet behind. You know, when you're standing in front of him or you come into him, he looks like $1 million. But, you know, give him a little bit of movement and he gets exposed for like the flat-footed stiff that he is.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about Big Bro Charlo. When he fought his best opponent, which was Julian Williams, he was getting touched up. Now, we had a guy earlier on the chat room. He was saying, oh, yeah, they're getting hit. Talking about the Charlos. They're getting hit, but they can take it. Well, it's not about whether you can take it or not. It's about whether if you're getting hit more than you hit the other guy, then you lose the decision. Right. Simple as that, you know. It's
the name of the game is not. We know you're going to get hit. Try to minimize the kind of hits that you're going to get by knowing how to, you know, having some defense. And also knowing how to select your punches at the same time, knowing how to place your punches in its proper directions, not what they were doing. At least last night.
Wait, who said this? Who said this?
Say again.
Who said this? That they can take it.
Somebody in the comment section.
Somebody in the comment section said that they can take a punch. I mean, good for them, right? I mean,
fantastic. You're not supposed to get fucking hit, though.
I agree. Yeah, you're not. It's not like. Anyway, it's ridiculous to say they can take it. And first of all, like Precise just said, who are they getting hit by? Is the real question.
Like, could he have taken that right hook from Andy Lee over and over? Could he? I don't think so. No.
Like, he's in there getting hit by Carneval, never known as a big puncher. If that's Golovkin just teeing off on him, what's going to happen? He's going to get bust up.
Yeah. I agree.
Golovkin's better. Like, Golovkin's going to land more because he's better.
Well, recognize, what did you say earlier? Like, that you think Canelo breaks them down, both Charlos down to the body?
Yeah. He would I think especially later. Yeah, I think especially later. The one thing I know about that we know about the Canelo is that he can continue a certain pace of fighting the whole distance for 12 rounds. He's gonna be there, and he's gonna go to that body. He's definitely gonna go to the body. He's gonna understand, especially the second half, that, you know, the body's gonna set up everything on top. This guy's gonna be missing shots because Canelo's also got a good defense and is a good counter puncher. Triple G I think, and again, Triple G's better. It's just about technique. Triple G is going to neutralize him from the start with the jab.
I agree.
It's just gonna be downhill.
Yeah, that jab. Time. The jab that he was hitting Canelo and Jacobs with, and Charlo, who doesn't move his head, that's trouble for him. Right, just right there. That alone, the jab, and also Golovkin and Canelo. We saw them. They took it to another level in the rematch. We're not sure if Charlo can take it. Big bro Charlo. We're not sure if he can take it to that level because we've never seen him in an all-out, drag-out type affair like the one that Triple G and Canelo took part in the rematch.
Look, man, I don't want to say that he never. I'm sorry, Precise.
No, go ahead.
I don't want to say that the guy has no shot in hell. I'm just saying the guy that fought tonight will get sparked. That's it. He'll get sparked out.
Hey guys, I just wanted to say I got to take my dogs out and I got to go help my old lady. So I'm going to be calling it a night. I just wanted to say good night to everybody and be safe. All right,
Jimmy, have a good one.
Look forward to talk to you guys soon.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Peace, bro.
All right, Jimmy. Thanks for being on, man. All right.
Yeah, I was just gonna say to your point. Not only did Canelo and Triple G take it to that level, just switching gears, right, turning up the gears. They fought confidently, you know, they showed a whole different level of technique. And you could say the same about Danny, why can't I think of his name? It's late. Danny's last fight. Yeah, Danny Jacobs' last fight. That was a similar type of a fight, right? They really put it on the line and threw many more punches. You had two confident guys in there. Charlo and Korobov, even though the Russian wasn't really hurting him. He landed clean, but he wasn't stunning him. Charlo wasn't willing to open up, man. He didn't show like that desire, the balls, you know what I mean, to put it on the line and take it to his opponent and do what Andy Lee did to him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just, I don't know.
Can I ask a serious question? The Charlo tonight, does anyone think he beats the Revanchenko?
He might, if he would have to like hurt him and hurt him early, but I
But
think
I'm
he gets
talking
run
about the
over.
Charlo
pretty-
tonight. The Charlo tonight.
Oh no,
No.
He gets outworked at least.
Yeah, I say he gets outworked at least, and I think that
Derevianchenko gets close to him, and Charlo, he doesn't really shorten up his punches very well. Derevianchenko gets close to him and just bullies his ass, I think. Korobov will look stronger in the clinches, I thought.
You know what? Somebody asked a question. How about David Lemieux against the Charles?
If he doesn't move, he's getting fucking wrecked. If he tries to trade with David Lemieux like he did at times with Korobov, he's going to be knocked into the fucking fourth dimension, man. He's going to be sent to the Shadow Realm.
The Shadow Realm? Did you just say he's going to get sent to the Shadow Realm?
He's going to get sent to the fucking Shadow Realm, bro.
What is this, Mortal Kombat?
If you sit there and let Lemieux tee off on you, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Well, I think he would box Lemieux probably. That would make the most sense. But yeah, he can't be exchanging with that guy.
Well, he exchanged at moments with Korobov, and he's exchanged with a couple of other guys. If he allows Lemieux to land a hook on him, he's going to be Joe McClellan Jr.
And the kind of hooks that Lemieux throws, he's kind of open for that shit too. He would go to sleep.
I know him by no means saying I think Lemieux's a good boxer. I think he's absolute trash. But he's got a punch on him like nobody else at middleweight.
Yeah.
He's fast enough too.
Yeah, very explosive with those shots, man. Push. Like, that's the
Reminds me
way
of Julian Jackson in terms of punching power.
Like C4 ammunition, man.
Yeah.
He's
Go ahead, man.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, apart from Trout, this is probably the second guy that really, I won't say like came to win, put it all on the line, but was serious, right? He was trying to win. I mean, maybe he just can't pull the trigger anymore, but you know, like, what can we really say about Korobov? What has he done? What has he proved as a professional? And he takes this fight at the age of 35 on short notice and does this well against an up-and-coming star, supposedly. That's not a good look, man. It's just not a good look.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that Charlos didn't perform as well as some people were claiming. And again, like I tell people, you gotta put a little bit of a stop on expectations. Like with Errol Spence, you know, we've heard people say, "Oh, Errol Spence, he can beat Canelo. He's gonna run through Thurman. He's gonna run through Porter. He's gonna run through Crawford. And it's only at middleweight where he's gonna get a real challenge." Well, he hasn't even beaten the best at welterweight, and a little bit of the same thing happened here with the Charlos. People were, you know, especially with Big Bro Charlo, people were saying he was gonna beat the top 3 guys at middleweight. Couldn't beat up a guy that got off the couch.
Who the fuck said he's gonna beat the top 33 at middleweight?
Well, I can't look up the names now, but believe me, if I do my diligent research here, I can bring up a whole bunch of names, a whole bunch.
Oh yeah, there's some people that you talking about the Charlos being they.
But you guys remember his claim to fame, right? Errol Spence's claim to fame is beating up on Charlos in the gym. So the fuck, I mean, they're at the same level.
Exactly.
That's why people were saying, "Oh, he's gonna do so well at
He
middleweight."
gave Mayweather a black eye.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, and he schooled.
And you know, he competes with the Charlos. Well, big fucking deal. What is that?
Yeah, so what does that mean exactly? What
Errol
happens when
Spence giving Mayweather a black eye is nowhere near on the same level as Dave Allen giving Tyson Fury a black eye.
Well, there you go. But don't forget also,
shit happens in sparring.
Yeah.
Don't forget also, Errol Spence gave it to Broner in sparring too.
Yeah.
Oh
my God.
Oh.
Mikey Garcia did it for real.
Mikey Garcia taught that boy.
He didn't do anything there like what Madonna did to Browner. That's for sure.
That's one of my favorite fights of all time.
Problem fucking solved.
Listen, Madonna beat up Broner and Floyd Mayweather.
Frankie fucking Gavin was giving it to Broner. I mean, come on, guys. Till he got caught.
He's fucking. Adil for real says Zelenov exposed Wilder in sparring too. Yeah, that's true. I'll tell you something.
I
Listen.
was watching a stream with Zelenov the other day, his own channel. He has a channel on YouTube. And he was just sitting there drunk out of his mind saying that he's 278 and all and that he's going to marry Megan Fox for like 3 hours. I was laughing like straight up. It was the most depressing thing I've ever seen.
He's mentally ill, man. He's mentally ill. I've said it before in his podcast.
I asked him, would he fight me in a bare knuckle to the death? And he said that's illegal, so sure.
Well, there you go. He's not that mentally ill.
So you gotta respect a man who's that fucked up.
I don't gotta respect shit. He needs some help, man. This guy needs his father too. He looks like he's out of his mind as well. Unfortunately, I think one of them, they're gonna get seriously hurt one day. Zelenov almost already got killed in a gym once, in an MMA gym. He ran out of the ring, and the guy chased him out of the ring and put him in a headlock, a rear naked choke. Almost choked the shit out of him.
Mate, Zelenov said the funniest thing ever on the stream the other day. He said that he's convinced Tom Cruise is 32% Dominican.
Like I said, he's mentally ill.
No, he was just sitting there talking like randomly, and he's like, "Guys, do you know something that nobody else knows but me? Tom Cruise is 32% Dominican." I'm like, "Wait, what?" That's come out of fucking 32. 42% is a bit of an odd one.
Did you see the video where he's walking outside? He's in the street and he's filming himself, and he's screaming hysterically and laughing at the same time and saying that he's Jesus Christ.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
Wilder's best win.
Mate, I'm gonna be honest. Charlie Z would put Dr. Phil into a mental institution. Like,
he's a schizoid, man. He's a schizo. He's schizophrenic.
I don't even think he's schizophrenic. I actually think he's schizoaffective. Yeah.
Well, that's another way of putting it. Yeah, that's a good euphemism, right? That's a good spin on it. He's schizoaffective. Oh,
that's
man.
an actual thing.
Is it?
Yeah, it's when you're okay. So schizophrenia is essentially when you see or hear people or things that aren't there, and schizoaffective is when you believe your delusion. So it's when your actual schizophrenia becomes the actual belief. So it's even worse.
It's almost like the difference between a psychopath and a sociopath.
I see. Well,
I don't want to be talking about schizoaffective and schizophrenia when I'm fucking drunk out of my mind.
You brought up Charlie Z. You sound a little bit like Charlie Z yourself there, McGregor. I got to tell you.
I will rape you.
I see. Well, all you got to do is try, honey. There's no.
Oh boy.
It's either do or don't do, man. Like Yoda said.
Remember,
look,
Jesus
listen.
is watching right now.
Yeah, that's true.
So either do or don't do? No, rape. There's only do. There is no.
I don't even know where this conversation is going. Listen, it's Christmas is almost here. We shouldn't be talking about non-Christian things like this close to Christmas. We do have to go, so I want to thank you guys for being here. But anybody have any last things to say? Something you want to point out that we missed maybe during this whole podcast?
Charlo sucks.
Yeah, I had a question that we asked earlier, but I don't think McGregor or Precise got a chance to answer it. What do you think would be the benefits of Errol Spence's breast milk?
Oh God. Well, before this gets any queer, I just want to say, don't fuck on Jesus' birthday, all right?
Okay. Oh man, too late for the past 15 years.
That's fine.
Okay.
All right.
No fap Christmas for Jesus. As for the benefit of Errol Spence's breast milk, delusions of grandeur.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
I'm just glad one of the Charlos lost. Maybe we could finally get some separation between them two. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And listen,
they'll stop hanging out together.
Yeah, man, that incest shit is bothering me.
Yeah, and they're just like a unit. You always see them together. Like, come on, guys. Only one of you could be decent. I mean, come on. Both of you can't be
It's like we're looking at two maggots at the same time. You're like,
Oh.
The two of them combined equal Charlie Z.
Okay, now listen. I'm not gonna sit here and let you guys disrespect the Charles like that. It's not gonna happen. Not on my show. All right.
Right on.
There you go.
Right.
We gotta have some standards
Anyway,
here.
my final words are anal crusades for Jesus.
I don't even know if McGregor's gonna be back for the next show, man, because his blasphemy is off the charts, and I don't like it. I gotta tell you
It
that.
can't be blasphemous if I'm not religious.
What about me? I'm religious, so that's blasphemous to me. Anyway, listen.
It's blasphemy in your eyes, but technically I'm not committing blasphemy.
All right, you know what?
You're actually the one doing that by proclaiming it onto me.
I tell you what. Allah Akbar. Allah is coming right for your ass, so you better watch it.
Allah and Jesus Christ are coming for you.
That's right. They're gonna
get Vishnu in there, and we can have a fucking multiple orgy. Or is that not monotheistic?
By the way, guys, don't forget to go to the YouTube BDA YouTube page and vote for the awards that we got going. Who's the most annoying panelist? Who's the best panelist? Best fight?
Who's the nastiest?
Yeah, who's the nastiest? Well, that goes without saying. I mean, I think we all know who's gonna win that one. But so check that out. We will be doing a podcast, or we got planned actually a year-end podcast on the 30th. Hold on a second. Yeah, the 30th of on Sunday, we're gonna do a year-end podcast. So make sure to tune in for that one. Check that one out. And we got some pretty good fights last night. I mean, yeah, last night because it's already 1:20 a.m. here where I'm at. So guys, thank you for joining us. I want to thank all the panelists that were here. Reverse Lee, Recognize, McGregor.
I just watched Negadon get put to sleep. Holy shit! What's in the highlight? Oh man.
I also want to thank thank McGregor, Jimmy, Precise,
Peace.
Recognize, Reverse.
Peace, everyone, man.
Thanks for joining us. Gonzalo is asking in the chat room, when's the next show? Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be doing one tomorrow. That's why we did it today at this late hour. But
McGregor, the three religions of Abraham are coming after you.
That's right. And X too is coming at you, the Black Israelite. So he defends this show to the death. He's loyal to the BDA army.
Yeah, well, fucking none of it's real, so it can't go anywhere.
That's what you think. That's what you think. We'll see.
That's what I say.
Listen, guys.
When you say the three religions of Abraham, what do you mean? Do you mean like Abraham Lincoln?
It means I'm getting the snip or some shit.
the snip.
I mean Moses, Jesus, and Allah. They're all coming for you.
That's right.
It's all made up. Fucking Moses, man, with the tablets made.
All right, listen, we gotta go, guys. Thanks for joining us. I want to thank everybody in the chat room as well. Centurion Son, the Quags, Steven Schneider for his contribution, Grievous, Boxing Style, Pop Tart Gun, Virtuoso, the Fight Scout, Pete Stammes, Fight Fan Phil, RR1000, RR1000. Who else? Overhand. You guys know who you are. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. Oh, Gonzalo Anaya, who was here. Thank you for joining us. Rick Rocca. And anybody else that I might have forgotten from earlier on. Thanks again for being here on the show. You guys make this show highly entertaining. I want to thank the panelists as well one last time. Merry Christmas. We're not going to see each other, I don't think, until, like I said, midweek. So Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah,
Merry Christmas,
Kwanzaa, whatever else you've got there. And we will see you in the next one, folks. Take care.
Happy Passover.